So today's video is really to the point, and it's all about this sort of trail arm. Now, we all have different feelings for the golf swing, and some things work for your mate and you'll try it and it won't work for you, and then you'll have your own. And that's because it's complicated. And that's because we're not all the same, and we all have to figure out what it is that we're trying to do. But fundamentally, whether your golf swing looks a certain way, is shorter, faster, longer, slower, loopier, straight up and down, regardless, there's a few things that we all need to do. And one of the things that we all need to do is control how the club is moving at the bottom part of the golf swing. That's a really, really key, important thing. And one of the ways that we do that, regardless of your type of ball flight or your feelings or whatever, is the functionality of the trail arm. The trail arm is massively helping you push that club through that hitting area. And one of the amateur traits is that the arm gets stuck and the club starts flipping its way through, which is a big problem. So what we have though, is that we have a wealth of YouTube channels and a wealth of golf magazines and a wealth of information out there. And some golf instructors say, you need to straighten your arm, and others say, no, you need to keep it bent, and no, you should do this and you should do that. And you're kind of there banging your head against the wall thinking, well, what should I do, right? And what's the correct way? And the correct way, I think, is this. So regardless as to whether you think about straightening your arm or whether you think more about keeping it bent, the first thing is inevitably it's going to have to straighten, right, to get to the back of the golf ball. But we're trying to keep this as feelings. But the thing that you want to do, if you are somebody that likes the feeling of throwing and straightening their arm, or if you're somebody who likes the feeling of keeping that arm bent, it doesn't matter. That fundamentally doesn't make a difference. It's not going to change either. But what you do want to be doing is you want to make sure that your upper arm, so your tricep, is moving to the side of your body. And this is a really key thing, because if you start trying to think about throwing and your tricep or your upper arm is moving away from you, then that's a cast, and that's dangerous, right? There's no, I know we all watch a pro and we'll say, Justin Rose said that he straightens his arm. I get what he says, but there's always a difference between what they say and what they do. And with Justin Rose, there's no way that he kind of swings up to the top and he's sort of casting his arm out here. The upper arm always stays close, but you want to feel that throw, that's fine. You want to drive it and keep it closer, that's fine. They're differences, they're both fine, but the upper arm needs to stay close. And this is what you see with better golfers. Now, what I wanted to do in this video is just talk about John. So John has recently featured in a lesson, him and Martin, in the senior golf lesson, and I talked very much about how John struggles in the backswing and he doesn't basically get enough width or leverage. And this is another problem, because what we can see with John is in the downswing, his upper arm moves further away from his body. And this is what encourages him to get really flippy. Because if your upper arm goes this way, then you are going to look this way. If that upper arm moves this way, then you're going to look this way. Now for John, and by all accounts, probably many of you, you need to be really concentrating on, in the backswing, width, and then bring it in. The same as if you were doing anything else. If you're going to skim a stone, wide, bring it in. Throw a ball, wide, bring it in. And that's it. So some key things that I've been putting on the channel, very much to the point. The last video I did on the pivoting action, really good. You've got to watch that if you haven't done. And this one about this trail arm, you've got to do that. Don't care whether you want to throw it. I don't care whether you want to drive it. I don't care whether it wants to go in front of your hip. I don't care whether it wants to go to the side of your hip. Not bothered. But what I am bothered about is the upper arm needs to be moving back towards the side of your body, whether you're throwing or whether you're holding onto your angles and trying to pivot. And that's it for today's video. Hopefully you enjoyed it. See you again soon.